Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate number 463, June the 16th, 2018, Saturday morning. Happy Saturday morning. Well, before I get started, I just want to mention that a lot of people are kind of frustrated right now. Of course, we're going to talk about that, but I just wanted to mention that Lisa Bennett left a really nice link for us. It's a link that you can click on to sign on to a petition to have the IG report completely unredacted, as well as asking for all the information that we're trying to get to be declassified. Trying to get enough signatures to get it on the White House petition so that they have to actually answer to it. Because this is what we need. We need to completely unredact the IG report as well as declassify all this information regarding the 2016 election, the Trump-Russia investigation, Operation Crossfire Hurricane, the whole 9 yards. Declassify it all, get it all out, let's sort it out and figure out what happened. I think we all have a pretty good idea what happened. But if you want to sign that petition, just go to TowerGate video number 462, scroll down about 3/4 on the page. You'll see the link left there by Lisa Bennett. Click on the link, it'll take you right there. Your name, first and last, email address, that's all you got to put in. Sign the petition. There you go. So, what have we all just witnessed? Well, I think what we just witnessed is 553 pages of an expose of political bias. Yet, the tagline after the release of the IG report, within seconds, was unanimously, there was no evidence of political bias. I'm sure everybody's caught on to this by now because it always happens, but it was probably so obvious this time that it was almost humorous. So I guess it was maybe the night that the IG report came out, I just Googled, about 10 o'clock, I Googled IG report or a Horowitzs IG report or whatever. And when the search results came back, I know it had to be at least the first 7-8 pages, were nothing but links to ABC, NBC, Vox, this and that, all these left-wing sites. And in the tagline, underneath all the, the bold printed name of the website or whatever in the link, underneath it in that very first sentence, in every single case, was the exact same words. No evidence of political bias. Page after page after page. Fortunately, I checked back again today, and now there's been enough clicks on enough other sites, The Hill and things like that, where you can actually get a little different take. But it was so funny because within a minute of the IG report coming out just after noon, you must have had a dozen Democrats come out and make statements. And every single one of them included that exact phrase, no evidence of political bias. You could go to NBC, CBS, CNN, ABC, NBC. Didn't matter. They all had the exact same word-for-word catchphrase, no evidence of political bias. It was so obviously orchestrated. And so you know that probably a week ago or less, someone got the word out and knew, hey, this is going to be pretty damaging. And of course, they know the whole case here was it political bias? Can that be proven or not? There's no question about what they did. We know about all the things they did that they denied, that they said they didn't do for a year and a half. But now that we know all the things that they denied for a year and a half, and we can prove they did these things, now they can only say, well, it wasn't political bias. 553 pages of an expose. I mean, you couldn't show a more clear example of political bias. Yet, every single one, right across every media outlet, all the left-wing media outlets, Democratic politicians, everyone fell perfectly in line and had the exact same statement. No evidence of political bias. As if they believe that if they repeat this over and over again, and people see it everywhere, that they accept the fact that there was no political bias. But if you just look at the content of the IG report, it's nothing but political bias. Unbelievable. That's why you all were so frustrated. Okay, let's go through this. There's a few things I want to point out here. So we have the top officials at the FBI calling Trump supporters effing idiots, sad, pathetic, and retarded. And I believe that particular phrase there is also as part of that phrase is they were talking about, yeah, people from Ohio. Oh, those Trump supporters from Ohio. They're effing idiots, pathetic, retarded. Yeah, I'm from Ohio. Ohioans don't like that very much. So, we have these top FBI officials saying this, yet no evidence of political bias. We have two of the FBI agents that were interviewing the rotten Reverend Clinton, of course, that were having affairs. And they were rotten Reverend Clinton cultists. See, they've targeted these 5 FBI agents, which Horowitz has targeted for investigation. Well, we know who 2 of them are, Strzok and Page. The other 3 are only named as FBI Agent 1 and 2 and Lawyer Number 2. Well, now we know who Lawyer Number 2 is. We just learned that today. I'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's get back to this. So this is the people that it most focuses on, because remember, we're talking right now just about the email investigation. We're not talking about the Russia collusion, the spies in the campaign, the FISA warrants, or any of that stuff. This was specifically about how the FBI handled the Clinton email investigation. Keep that in mind. Okay, so then we have FBI agents basically accepting bribes in exchange for information. That is a crime. They're giving out information to media outlets in exchange for all sorts of perks, concert tickets, tickets to football, baseball games, private dinners, all these sorts of things, yet no evidence of political bias. Oh, we have Strzok and Page. We have them calling Trump an effing idiot, a douche, and a disaster. But no evidence of political bias. Oh, of course, we have the classic, the biggie. Trump's not going to become president, right? Right? No, he won't. We'll stop it. No evidence of political bias, none whatsoever. Despite the fact that these 2 making these comments were the 2 people who probably were most instrumental in the Clinton email investigation. That was a non-investigation. It was a cover-up. They were involved in the Operation Crossfire Hurricane. We know Peter Strzok was working with that secret task force for John Brennan. We know that they were involved in getting FISA warrants based on a dossier written by Trump-hating private contractors. And then, of course, they lied about it to the FISA judge or 2. They were involved in putting spies into the Trump campaign. But no evidence whatsoever of political bias. I'm sure none of the political bias of these 2 and their friends had any impact on all these other things they were involved in. Nothing. No evidence of political bias. What a joke. The entire document is 553 pages of political bias. The exact opposite of the narrative. And we're going to get there. Believe me. We're going to get there. So this is basically what we're told to believe at this point, that yes, all these things that you see from the beginning of that report to the end, demonstrating clear, massive political bias, and all the things that they were involved in, that they let the rotten Reverend, I mean, let's face it, we know the rotten Reverend committed the crimes. We know that. There's no question about the crimes that she committed. Yet, she gets off the hook. Why? Well, if you read through the 553 pages, like many people have, and now, of course, revealed to us what's there, and we're looking at it, it's pretty obvious why they didn't charge the rotten Reverend Clinton for the crimes she was guilty of. Not just 1 or 2 or 3 or a handful of instances of mishandling classified information, violations of the Espionage Act. Literally thousands! Thousands! If it wasn't political bias that was the reason that they did not prosecute the rotten Reverend Clinton, then what was it? No doubt she committed the crimes. So why was she not indicted for her crimes? Well, again, if you read through that's a rhetorical question, by the way, because when you read through or look at all that's come out about the 553-page IG report, You can see all through it that they are pulling for Hillary and hating on Trump. If you cannot objectively, reasonably connect the two, if you can't see the political bias having an effect on what they were doing, then you are out of your mind. You're not serious, or you're lying. I think they're lying. It's not going to fly. It's not going to happen. Now, according to No Shit Sherlock Christopher Wray, the FBI, I'm with her director, what they just need over there at the FBI is some sensitivity training. Well, they will look at that as a joke. A joke. Let me tell you, No Shit Sherlock Christopher Wray, how you solve the problem you have there with the upper echelon, 7th floor of the FBI. You charge them and you throw their asses in jail. And when you do that, everyone else will look at that and go, uh-oh, I guess we can't do that kind of stuff anymore. And that will take care of the problem. Right now, a class on sensitivity training, they'll laugh at you. They'll laugh. No one takes you seriously. No shit, Sherlock Wray. No one. James Clapper still out there running his flaps. So we have Clapper telling Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News that U.S. intel officials in his last year identified the person suspected of transferring emails to WikiLeaks. On behalf of the Russian government, the cutout, he says, they were pretty confident, but not enough to publicize it. Well, that's the first we've heard of it. How long has it been? And now all of a sudden, oh yeah, we think we know the cutout Russian who gave the emails to WikiLeaks, but we can't tell you who it is because we're not totally sure. Really? Who do you think it was? Maybe Devin Nunes' committee, the House Intelligence Committee, would like to know who you think it is. Despite the fact that Assange has flatly denied the Russians or anyone had anything to do with it, didn't come from Russia whatsoever. He's willing to show you the evidence, but yet you will never even go over and take a look at the evidence. He has. He's offering to show you the evidence right now. He has contacted Senator Mark Warner and said, I'll come to Congress and lay it all out for you. They don't want to hear from him. Do you think Clapper asked Assange about that? No. The cutout. Oh, yeah? My, oh, my. They ain't got a single clue. They don't even know what hacked or if anyone hacked it at all. And I think we all know that no one hacked the DNC. Again, Clapper is out of his mind. Out of his mind. Why is he just now telling this? He's saying that he knew this about a year before he left before he left his position. That would be 2015. Yet just now he's just now telling us, oh well, yeah, we had a pretty good idea who the cutout was. Just not 100% sure. My oh my. The thing is, they've told so many lies. The only thing they can do is continue telling lies to cover for the lies they've already told. And there's no end to it. So yesterday I said, hey, look, we're all frustrated, but don't worry about it. Because I'm telling you, Trump is not going to let it slide. Now, just to back that up, this morning, had no idea this was coming. He's being interviewed by Fox News, and he says, hey, this is Trump. I beat Bush, the Bush dynasty. I beat the Clinton dynasty, and now, I guess, hopefully, I'm in the process of beating very dishonest intelligence. He's sending a message there. He's sending a message. He's telling you that he's fully engaged in this battle and that he's in the process of fighting it and he plans on winning it. That tells me he's got a plan. I don't know what that plan is, but my guess is, knowing how politics guide everything in Washington, Trump is probably surrounded by political people. So are a bunch of members of Congress who are saying, hey, yeah, I know, we know all the stuff that went on. Yeah, we can deal with that, but let's not do it before the November elections. You never know how these things can go. They can backfire. We could end up losing control of Congress. Then the Democrats take over. Then all the investigations stop. The best thing we can do right now is hold on to the Congress and try to get through this period between now and then, get as much information as we can, but let's not go full bore until we get past 2018, at which point maybe you'll have Jim Jordan as the speaker, because as long as Paul Ryan is the speaker, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. So I think that this is probably the political advice that Trump is getting as well as other people. And that's why I think probably if he has a plan, and I'm pretty sure he does, that his plan is probably designed for him to kick it in after the midterm elections, and hopefully they've held on to the House, and at this point it looks like they probably will, unless something really bad happens, at which point he will use it working up to the 2020 election and have it all come unfolding from 2018 up to the 2020 election. That would be my guess at this point. One thing's for sure, I don't think Trump's going to let it slide. Even he came out and said it's a farce. He said it's obvious that there was political bias against him. Obvious. Yes, it is. We're also this phrase that we keep hearing, well, it's only the top tier of the FBI. Well, apparently not. Apparently not. Because now we have FBI agent number 1, FBI agent number 2, and lawyer number 2. And others. Believe me, there's others. Dozens. Of course, we learned today that Manafort's been jailed. I mean, that's just horrible. What's going on with Manafort? That case should never have even gone to trial. It's a case they looked at 6 years ago, decided there wasn't even enough evidence. None of the things that the defense has asked for have been granted. The judge is totally an Obama appointee in the tank for Obama, and they're punishing Manafort, punishing him, abusing the rule of law to punish Manafort, to force him into making up something that they can use against Trump. It's absolutely pathetic. But one of the main things that's being looked over in this IG report that not too many people are talking about, certainly no one in the left-wing media, certainly no Democrats, is that Horowitz, for the most part, exactly, as a matter of fact, confirmed. I mean, the thing is about how the FBI handled the Clinton email investigation. What Horowitz tells us in the IG report is that, in fact, what they were investigating and what they should have concluded was the rotten Reverend Clinton broke the law, along with Huma and a lot of her friends, including Obama. There were 12 people that Horowitz identified in the rotten Reverend Clinton's private email chain. One of them was Obama, and he knew it. These are all violations of the law, by the way. Yet no one's talking about it. If anything should be talked about in the IG report, besides the fact that it was massive political bias, was the fact that the IG confirmed the crimes that the rotten Reverend Clinton committed and was let off of. And the IG report, in a lot of ways, is the same. Just like when Comey came up there and laid out the case for all the crimes that Clinton committed and then let her off the hook. Here we have 553 pages of evidence showing clear the bias, political bias, and all that was done, a lot of it criminal, and yet we're told, yeah, but really nothing here. No one would prosecute. They just need some sensitivity training, some disciplinary action. That's all. I'm sorry, but here's exactly what Horowitz told us. FBI agents found Huma Abedin deleting classified Clinton emails from her Yahoo account. And at the same time, knowing all this, the FBI, supposedly doing an investigation, never thought or made any effort to subpoena those devices. Horowitz's report also finds that Huma forwarded sensitive State Department emails to all of her insecure Yahoo Mail accounts, which were later hacked by foreign actors. He's not saying maybe. They were hacked by foreign actors, including Russia. So, there we have it. Horowitz saying, yep, the rotten Reverend Clinton using this along with her buddy Huma Abedin or forwarding classified emails through all those people from her Yahoo account, literally talking to the President of the United States on foreign soil. Everyone's listening in, and she did this literally hundreds of times. Hundreds of counts. Right there in the IG report telling you the crime. Yet, is anyone today saying, well, there it is. Horowitz's report clearly showed the rotten Reverend Clinton. There's no question. Violations of the Espionage Act. Not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times. Hundreds of times. Today, we should be hearing, well, based on the IG report, there's going to be criminal referrals for the rotten Reverend Clinton. Or better yet, she should be taken away in leg chains. Nothing. Horowitz also found that Obama had direct contact with the rotten Reverend Clinton on her private email account. He was one of 13 people, and the FBI scrubbed Obama's name from the report. Oh yes, we remember that. That was Mr. Priestep that scrubbed Obama's name from the report on the rotten Reverend Clinton's email investigation, even when she was out of the country. She was using this unsecured system of communication out of the country. She was in foreign countries. Everyone listening in. Clear violations. Unbelievable. Of course, the rotten Reverend Clinton, today, instead of being hauled into court for an arraignment for her crimes, the rotten Reverend Clinton was actually spotted out in San Francisco, giving a speech to an 8th grade all-girls school, where the annual tuition is $35,000 a year. That's her peeps. And it's being reported that she could barely walk up the 4 steps to get into the school, and that she looked quite feeble. My goodness. So we now know, as I told you, the IG report keeps referring to these 5 FBI agents, which Horowitz has recommended be investigated. We know 2 of them is, of course, Peter Stokonis and Lisa Page. But they also identified lawyer number 1, FBI agent number 1, FBI agent number 2, and then lawyer number 2, in addition to Page and Strzok. So everyone wants to know, who are these people? I especially want to know who that FBI agent is who said that those of us who live in Ohio are effing stupid and all the rest. Yeah, I want to know who that is. But we now know who FBI lawyer number 2 is. FBI lawyer number 2 is someone named Tashina Gauhar, Gauhar, Tashina Gauhar. And her name pops up in this FBI, not just making, she's of course having an affair with one of the FBI agents. She's also was really involved in the Wiener email thing. And that's where her name mostly comes up. So that is who FBI lawyer number 2 is. Lawyer number 2. So we know one of those 3 people now. Tashina Gauhar, a Clinton cultist, working to exonerate the rotten Reverend Clinton, clearly obstructing justice. Has anybody heard about? No, I guess for that she'll get some sensitivity training. Some sensitivity training. Let's see, for fixing a federal case involving violations of the Espionage Act on probably 1,000 counts or more. Sensitivity training. Hey, but Jeff Sessions came out today and made a statement. He's very proud of the FBI and with her director, the no-shit Sherlock Christopher Wray. He's very, very happy. Sessions is very proud of Christopher Wray. Sensitivity training for all. Well done. You know, the Last Refuge has had a chance now. I guess there's, 4 or 5 people over there that actually write under the Last Refuge. I guess they probably split it up and they all read 100 pages or something. But having gone through it, I kind of like the way that Last Refuge surmises the entire thing. He basically says that it appears, from what we can see regarding the Clinton email investigation, that they spent more time trying to shape public perception than they did investigation of the rotten Reverend Clinton's crimes related to her server and the mishandling of classified information. Absolutely. That's exactly what you see all through this thing, is that they spent way, way more time trying to create a media narrative. Because remember, this whole time, if you look at the IG report and is what we've been learning throughout, they were constantly monitoring all these newspapers, all these news stations. They were feeding all sorts of propaganda, trying to change the narrative, create the narrative, doing all these things. There was a massive, massive media campaign that was being used to squash the Hillary Clinton email investigation. That's what they were doing. Exactly what is said by The Last Refuge. They were spending most of their time shaping public opinion by way of monitoring all the media and feeding the media narratives. This is what they were doing. This is a crime. This is also obstruction. It's probably classified information they were leaking. Accepting gifts in return for information. That's called a bribe. That's also illegal, especially if you're in the FBI in a major criminal investigation. No evidence of political bias. No evidence of any crimes. Just a few policy violations. But isn't that what we'd expected? Another observation that I have of this is that what's frustrating about this particular IG report is that you see that Horowitz is constantly catching these people in lies. He knows he's catching them in lies, and he lays it out for you right there in the IG report. He even tells you, I don't have a lot of confidence that what that guy told me, what Strzok told me, or what these FBI agents told me, what these people told me, I don't have a lot of confidence that they're telling me the truth. But I don't really have the evidence to prove that they were lying. In other words, they didn't actually go in and text each other, hey, let's put together this operation to get Trump impeached, and it'll be called Operation Crossfire Hurricane, and it will involve this and this and this, and we'll do this and this and this. No, they didn't come out and exactly explain and lay out the entire conspiracy in their texts. But there's enough evidence in their texts that you can clearly connect the dots. But here is a perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We have the comment by Strzok and Page, the text message which occurred on August the 8th of 2016, just a week after they opened the counterintelligence operation. A week after that is when you get this text message from Lisa Page about she's saying, hey, we can't let Trump be president. Please tell me he's not going to win. He's not going to win, right? In which case, Ben Strokinus comes back and says, oh, we're going to stop it. No, he's not going to be president. No, we're going to stop it. Okay. Now, when he was asked about this, because it's right there in the IG report, you can read about it. Horowitz asks Peter Ben Strokinus about what he was talking about and about this text where he tells Lisa Page, no, don't worry, we're going to stop it. In his response, Peter Ben Strokinus responded by saying, oh, well, I was just saying that to reassure Lisa Page. I was just trying to reassure her. And as far as, we'll stop it. Oh, that was just, it didn't really mean anything. It didn't mean we were actually taking any actions or doing anything like that. It just means, I was just something I was saying. It really didn't mean anything. And so Horowitz has got, okay. Generally you would go into court and you would show all this evidence and the jury would look at this, all of these things taken overall with all the comments they made, all the things they were doing. They would tie two and two together and they'd say, okay, well, I believe Strzok is lying. I don't believe he was just trying to reassure Lisa Page. I think he was actually telling her, no, we've got a plan to stop him. But Horowitz doesn't go there. Horowitz says, well, that's what Peter Ben Strokinus is telling me, that he was just trying to reassure Lisa Page. And when he said, no, we're not going to let him win, we'll stop him, he didn't really mean anything by that. There was no actual plan. He was just, just saying stuff. Yeah, at the same time, he had just opened up a counterintelligence operation. They got spies in the campaign. He's participating in the dossier to go get the FISA warrants. He's participating in all sorts of leaks, controlling media narratives. He's letting the rotten Reverend Clinton off the hook. He's launching counterintelligence. He's working with Brennan's little group. He's doing all these things. Yet, no, he really didn't mean it. There was nothing to that statement about, no, we're not going to let him win. And he was just reassuring Lisa Page. You see, this is all through the IG report. this exact type of thing, where Horowitz even says, okay, I hit him on this, and here's what they said. And I can't really prove, I mean, Strzok's saying this is what he meant. I can't prove what he meant. Well, yeah, you can, Mr. Horowitz. If you just take a look at this one isolated statement, then maybe you can say, okay, well, just this one isolated statement, you know, he could be telling the truth, or he could be lying, but I can't prove it. But when you take a look at all of the things that he said, that Luce Lisa Page said, that their other buddies, FBI agents 1 and 2, lawyer number 2, all these other people, and you look at all the things that they were doing, when you take a look at all that and put it all together, then this statement in context would give any reasonable person on a jury, presented with the evidence of all the activities that they were involved in and all the statements that they were making, and the fact that they did exonerate the rotten Reverend Clinton, even though they knew she committed all these crimes, you cannot reasonably come to the conclusion that there was not an effort and that he was not serious about what he was talking about. Of course he's telling you exactly. But Horowitz finds himself constantly having to say, well, I can't really prove what they meant. I can only look at what they did and what they said, but I can't prove what someone's thinking or what someone's intentions were. My God, yes you can. But again, I told you, Horowitz is not going to look at this entire thing and sit back and look at it and put together a conspiracy and say, this is how it all went down. He is going to look at individual things and say, this policy was violated, this policy was violated, they did this, they probably shouldn't have did this, they did this, they should have done this, or whatever. He is not going to make the criminal case. It's not what he does. He's the Inspector General. He's not a prosecutor. We have a prosecutor, but, is Mr. Huber going to come out and say, well, I mean, clearly the IG in his report shows what we all knew. It's just another, a group of investigators coming to the same conclusion, which is that the rotten Reverend Clinton violated the Espionage Act on probably, if not hundreds, thousands of counts. Mr. Huber should immediately be bringing criminal indictments. What is he waiting for? I don't know. There's no need to wait. We've been waiting long enough. The evidence is clear. Now, where are we on the other issues? Rodenstein clearly has to go. In fact, this entire investigation should be shut down. The entire Mueller team should be shut down. Why? Let me tell you why. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I sat here and I read to you the exact wording. I read from the letter Rosenstein sent to Mueller when he brought him in as special counsel. He said, you will be taking over the investigation. He was talking about the counterintelligence operation that had previously been running and was still running. He was telling Mueller, you're going to come in and assume control of this investigation. Well, that investigation in question, the investigation Mueller took over, was the counterintelligence operation that was Peter's been stroking us and Luce Lisa Page and all these other characters we're talking about. And we can now see clearly that it was fixed. Therefore, this entire thing is poisoned. All the evidence is poisoned. The entire investigation is poisoned. It should be shut down now. And Rodenstein should resign. Now, a lot of you know that Nunes is trying to get the votes to try to hold Rodenstein in contempt. But the fact of the matter is it requires 218 votes. And you aren't going to get any Democrats. That means that they got to get 218 Republicans to vote to hold Rodenstein in contempt. Now, once you do that, he resigns. That 99% of the time, they resign. They don't stick around and wait to be impeached. They just resign. But the person who can get the 218 votes is Paul Big Ears Eddie Munster Ryan. He is not willing to do that. 218 Republican votes in the House will get rid of Rodenstein. Where are they? I guess we're going to find out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. See ya. Bye.